but you can do it.
Yes!
That's actually...
Suplex him!
That's actually... You know me is common. Alright, so I'll do it to the boss this time. Alright, so for those of you who didn't know, Razmi had slow in the prototype, which was down attack.
Yes.
So now it has effects, and it has pellet effects, and you can boost it by doing it multiple times.
Wow.
And we actually have like a full status effects system now, so he's not going to go for like 10 seconds. Yeah, so this was one of the other things that was very poorly communicated in the prototype because we didn't have time to finish it, but we totally finished it, so yeah.
That brings up a good point. We don't want you guys to hold back on your feedback, positive or negative. We want this game to be as good as it can be, and we've never really been the type of studio to just shy away from negative feedback, so if you have something that you really don't like, there's a sub-forum on Skullheart that you can go post in. I think we're at some point going to have dedicated indivisible forum going, but you're welcome to tweet us and email us and say, hey, you know, I really didn't like this part. Are you guys gonna fix that? We probably are, but yeah, don't hesitate to let us know. And come by the booth and yell at me if you want. It's all good.
Yeah. I'm just proud of this because like a full status effect system is not easy. But now we can do haste and poison and everything else that you expect out of an RPG.
Yeah!
Woo!
I love haste. You okay?
Yep, now this is you. This is all you. Are you wondering why he was here?
Yes.
I said he was filler, but he might not actually be filler.
Oh, you lied to us.
Dive into the video. Just play it. Okay. Are you all ready? You might want to look at the screen. Maybe. You might want to look at the screen.
Definitely look at the screen.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's exactly the same directory structure. Alright, which one do you want to see?
It's something!
Show of hands, who wants to see not the thing?
Wait, no.
Alright, I'll let you in on a little secret, they're exactly the same. Here we go.
Of course it is.
Or
is it?
Check this.
Wait. Oh, man.
Oh, I can't download this now. We need to make sure.
So that's what we've been working on. This is our, we should transfer over to the iPad. Oh, yeah. So audio alert to make sure that we don't explode people's eardrums like when we were warming up. Turn off the audio.
I'm scared.
Good? We're good.
Wait, that is sick.
Okay, we're good.
Oh, no. Oh, let's see.
Well, here. Let's get it. Sorry. Chat amongst yourselves.
I wonder if this is anything.
So this has been a great panel, hasn't it?
Yeah!
You guys remember what
For about the last 2 years, we've been working with Lab Zero to go try and build a mobile version of Skullgirls. Right from the get-go, our goal is that we really wanted to build a fighting game for mobile that really captured the depth and essence of a fighting game while at the same time being extremely accessible and built from the ground up with mobile in mind. So I've always been a huge fighting game fan. I think that the fighting game genre, more so than most genres, has a lot of sort of fans from afar, people who are really into the IP and into the games, but don't necessarily, they're intimidated by some of the mechanics and things along those lines. And our goal with Skullgirls Mobile is to make sure that, that anybody can go through and pick up this game and play it, have a good time, and start to experience what it's like, the joys of playing a fighting game, even if they've never played one before. So on that note, let's go ahead and dive in. I'll show you guys how some of this works. So general disclaimers, this is an in-development build. You'll probably see some UI screens that look a little janky, but that's because they are. Yeah, go for it.
How much is it?
Oh, how much is it? Go for it. Say your...
Okay. I just want to say that having been able to work with these guys, I was pretty impressed because they're actually running our whole decompression tech. So like, that's the same art as in the actual console game, which is like, I wish I could explain how hard that is to do. I thought that it was just going to be, rip out all the frames as a frame dump and do that. And they were like, no, we're going to do this for real. So it's for real. You get palettes and everything. That was impressive to me.
Yeah, no, we have a really great tech team that's been going through and building this out. And that was really one of the key concepts, is that we wanted to make sure that this felt like it was a true fighting game, not just kind of, we exported a bunch of assets and slapped it onto sort of a tap fest. We wanted to actually feel like it was a true fighting game on mobile. We'll just start with some of the basics. So right now I'm in kind of a training mode, so I'm just, that's why the AI isn't doing anything. But the basic inputs are pretty simple. I know I can actually show you, I'll try and do grandiose gestures so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. But the simplest thing to do, obviously, is tap. Tapping will do a simple light attack. If you tap several times, you'll do a combo. That's a very basic combo. All of these combos are things you'll actually also be able to unlock as you go through. There's a whole RPG-style progression system that I'll talk about a little bit later. You can also swipe. Swipe left, you'll dash backwards. Swipe forward, you'll do a dash attack. And if you swipe forward twice, you do a knockback attack. Knockback attacks do more damage, but they also knock down your opponent, and so they effectively become combo enders, and combos will obviously be an important part of what we'll talk about in a second. In addition, you can swipe down, which will do a trip attack. That covers a short distance, also is a little bit of a combo ender. It's a great way to like tack on a final hit or two at the end of a combo. And then if you hold down 2 fingers, you block. And if you swipe with 2 fingers, you do a throw. So that's the counter to blocking, obviously. So those are the basics, and a lot of those are relatively new to mobile fighting games as well. But we, as I said before, we really wanted to capture the depth and kind of tactical choices and the creativity, particularly in combo making, that really makes fighting games so much fun. So we also, if you swipe up, you'll do a launcher. And what's the fun of doing a launcher if you can also tap afterwards to do a juggle? So all of these things are really accessible inputs that even if you've just kind of picking up the game for the first time, they'll generally be pretty discoverable. You can also tap and hold and do a charge attack. That has some special properties. That's also something you'll unlock along the way. You'll see in the lower left-hand corner, we've got this little George icon here. If you tap that, I'm going to knock down Valentine and then get over here. That goes through and so does George. So a lot of the special moves you're familiar with from Skullgirls are actually equipable items. You can think of them like spells or gear. They're things you can collect and unlock as you play throughout the single-player story. And then you can choose which ones you want to bring into play. So that kind of team building and equipment management is a key part of the metagame as well. And then these little buttons down here will trigger our good friends blockbusters. So a lot of these will be familiar from what you've seen before. Obviously in the console game, we also have some new ones that we're going to be going through and creating as well. And then if you look in the upper left, I'm obviously a team of 3 right now. If I just go ahead and tap on Big Band, in comes Big Band. I'll explain why he's regenerating a little bit later on. But then, if you want to, you can ultimately mix all these things together. So hopefully, pressure's on. I'll see if I can pull this together. So, do a dash attack, tap combo, launcher, air juggle, blockbuster. There we go. Cool. So those are all combos that you can build yourself. Last night, terrified that I was just going to completely whiff that.
We're going
I've been working on this game for about about 2 years, and we're still finding new combos every single day. And I think that's a really big part of what gives a fighting game longevity, is to have a lot of that flexibility to be able to go through and have that sense of ownership and create cool things that you want to share in combo videos online, and always find new ways in which you can go through and optimize and things like that. So you probably noticed, I mentioned before, Big Ben was regenerating when he ultimately came in. Every single character has a host of different special abilities that you can unlock as you go. So for example, right now, Big Ben has this ability called Second Wind, that basically whenever he tags in, he gets a small regeneration.
It's a music pun.
You'll be here for all of them. It's going to take a while. If we go ahead and we tag in Peacock real quick, Peacock has Ensemble Cast, which basically it reduces the cooldown for tag-ins, and so those two characters paired onto the same team obviously have a symbiotic effect. So there's a lot of that kind of collectible card game style deck building that we have within the game as a whole also. One of the other cool things that we have is, you see this little brain drain icon down here in the middle? When I tap that, we actually go into what we call Fight Assist mode. Now, Fight Assist mode is basically an aggressive offense-only AI gets turned on for your character. We found for a lot of players that weren't necessarily all that familiar or comfortable with action games, that even the simplified inputs that we had was still a little bit daunting. So what this does is basically the AI will just be full aggro. It's pretty effective against a dummy AI that doesn't do anything or block. So you'll always be more effective if you, the player, have full control over the character. But what it means is that people who are more comfortable playing turn-based RPGs and kind of more strategy-related games, it becomes kind of a tactical mode. So you can always override and tell Peacock when to block, and if she was attacking Valentine but Valentine was blocking, you could do an override and tell her to throw, and then decide to go through into one of your blockbusters. So you can choose when to tag in. So basically it means it's a mode that's available for players that, again, may not be super comfortable with action games in general. They still get a chance to go through and kind of get their feet wet and get comfortable, and then usually after a little bit of time, players tend to shift back over into controlling all the inputs themselves. So cool. So I'm going to jump a little bit. This is basically a quick demo of the combat. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more about the structure of the game as a whole. So I'm going to back out. So be forewarned, temp screens await along the way.